Good morning, everyone. So let's start today's editorial session. And thought of the day is life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Yeah, it's true because it's mandatory that bad thing will happen to us. Otherwise, how can we will enjoy our life? If something bad happened, then only we value uh, the happiness, right? So whatever happened, it's okay. But how we deal with that situation, that's the important thing. Something happened, it's fine, but we must need to know how to take care of that situation, how to handle that thing. Then only our life will be better. So it's like whatever happened, if it's bad, it's only impact 10%. But if we think about it all the time, then the 90% effect will be there. So it's totally up to us. Okay. Thank you. And next, the heading of today's editorial is Don't Lure but Persuade. Okay. So I think that I have to tell the meaning of these two words and it's quite new for us. So what Leo means, okay, let me write it here. Leo means attract something, okay, and persuade. Sorry, my spelling is not correct. Attract something, and persuade means it means convince. Persuade. Okay. Okay, so what is the meaning of this line is that don't try to attract, try to convince. Okay, so why it's written here? Let's line about it. On fiscal rational coal promises. Fiscal means what? If there's anyone from some days ago I took one editorial. There's we learned about fiscal year, and that day I mentioned about that. What's fiscal means? So anyone who would like to tell me the meaning of fiscal? Is there anyone? Okay, then let me write it. Fiscal means financial, and in Hindi we can say vitya. Okay, fiscal, rational, and poll promises. And what rational means? Rational means logical. Why I'm writing this thing so that your vocab will be improved and it will be helpful for everyone. So it's like logic. Okay, so till now we have learned four vocab. Lure means attract, persuade means convince, fiscal means financial, and rational means logic. And poll promises, fiscal, rational for poll promises will impart depth and meaning to electoral campaigns. Okay, so what it means actually, what happened before any election, those political parties, what they did, they just make some promises like, yeah, after this election we will provide that much item to you, free water supply, free current, something like that. But what happened, they are not able to fulfill that. So because of this reason, this editorial is about that only. Like, don't lure, don't attract, don't try to attract, try to persuade, try to convince them. Okay, whatever those political parties say, it should be true. They should implement that. They should try to implement that. Okay. So that's why here it's written that fiscal rational financial logic for poll promises will impart depth and meaning to electoral campaigns. Okay. So today is October 7, 2022, and let's start today's session. In the first para, what we are having, the Election Commission of India's proposal to require political parties to disclose the financial implication of the promises they make in their manifestos will add meaning and depth to electoral campaigns. So I just want to ask you one question to you guys. Anyone who would like to tell me about the manifestos? Anyone?
Manifesto, like what party decided they will do after election, means Ghoshna Patra type.
Yes,
A
absolutely correct.
written
Manifest.
statement by the political parties before the elections.
Yes,
Manifesto
absolutely
means
correct.
some program. After that party will when that party will win, so that party promised to public, I will do those things after winning. That is a manifesto.
Yes. Absolutely correct. And I think Shruti told that it's Khosana Patra. In Hindi, it's Khosana Patra. Okay, so you all are correct. So the Election Commission of India, that means ECI's proposal, they give some proposal to require political parties to disclose. What disclose means? Disclose means reveal. Reveal the financial implication. What implication means? It means result. So disclose means reveal. And implication means result. Okay, so the financial result of the promises they make to their manifestos will add meaning and depth to electoral campaigns. Okay, I think you got that idea of this. The idea that parties should communicate to electors the fiscal rationale, I already mentioned about it. That means the financial logic for promising delivery of goods. Goods means the items, okay, or services that would involve a significant outgo for the executor is already part of the Model Code of Conduct from 2015. So, who would like to tell me the meaning of this word, executor? I think we understand the para
Something like
already.
executed.
Executed? No. It's the government department that controls public money in other countries. Okay, it's a government department that controls public money in other countries. Okay, let me write it because it's a important vocab. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is all about this para. So is there any doubt in this para? I think no, right? Okay, so let's go to the next one. The ECI, that means already mentioned, election, this one,
Commission of
Election
India.
Commissions of India. Yeah. The ECI is now proposing a pro forma for such disclosures And what the meaning of disclosures?
Reveal. Recently told us. Reveal.
That's, yeah. Okay. If parties agree and the idea is included in the model code, they will have to spell out the section of society that a particular promise is targeted at, the extent of coverage and the number of likely beneficiaries and the cost of implementing it. Okay, so see what ECI told. They are now proposing a pro forma for such disclosures. Okay, if parties agree, if those political parties agree and the idea is included in the model code, they will have to spell out. Okay, so if this idea will include whatever given by this ECI, if this include, then what they have to do, they will have to spell out the section of society they need to tell they need to tell those people, I mean those electors who give the vote and all, that a particular promise is targeted at, and the extent of coverage, and the number of likely beneficiaries, and the cost of implementing it. See, if they are giving, they have done some promises, then they need to tell us like how they will get that much of money to fulfill those promise and all. Okay, so this is all about today. This is all about this para. So let's go to the next line. Okay. They must also spell out how the required resources will be raised. Okay. And they must need to tell out about what? Like those resources will be reached, how those resources will be reached, and to give the parties an idea of the fiscal challenges that their promised scheme may pose. Okay. And the parties to give the parties an idea of fiscal financial challenges that their promised schemes may pose, and the center and the states have been asked to disclose details of the budget revenue receipt and expenditure, as well as the outstanding liabilities. And the center and the states have been asked to disclose. They have been asked to reveal the details of budget revenue. They need to reveal the details of budget revenue and the receipt and the expenditures, as well as the outstanding liabilities. So who would like to tell me the meaning of expenditure?
Kharche, expenses.
Expensive that we occurred. The money we
Yeah.
spent.
Expenditure means benefit. Labh.
Expenditure means
Overall
benefit.
expenditure means.
Labh, फायदे, मुनाफे.
Oh, benefit is profit.
No. That's different. Expenditure is the action of spending fund. Okay, the cost, how much cost it will take, something like that. Okay, let me write it. Expense.
It is all about expenses.
Yeah,
You
the
have.
action of spending funds.
The money which you have spent already.
Okay, so the state and the center they also have to reveal about the budget revenue and the expenditure, which means that the action of spending funds and the outstanding liabilities as well. Okay, so anyone would like to tell me the meaning of this outstanding liabilities? Okay, so let me tell you. It's outstanding liabilities refers to those payments which are organization accounting to its requirement as has taken some condition or other material, and the payment of which is still outstanding as the cost and other expenses are the outstanding liabilities. Okay, are you getting that? Are you getting me?
Yeah, got it. It's like
Okay.
the debt which is remaining to pay.
Yeah, simply this is okay.
Yeah.
So if some company borrowed some money and anything, they need to give those return back, right? So those are like outstanding liabilities. So what central states have to disclose to reveal is like budget revenue, receipt, expenditure, and outstanding liabilities. Okay, so let's go to the next para now. The information, it is believed, will provide a framework under which a manifesto can be assessed by the voter from the perspective of its financial viability. It may also make parties treat manifesto preparation as a responsible exercise meant to persuade rather than lure the voter. So, I already tell the meaning of persuade. It means convince. And what is the meaning of lure? It means attract. So what ECI informed that according to that, those political parties have to prepare their manifesto in such a manner so that it will convince the voter more than rather than only attracting the voters. Okay. So persuade is important than lure the voter. Convincing the voter is important than attracting the voter. Okay, so let's go to the next para now. There is bound to be some resentment among section of the political class. So what is the meaning of resentment? It's really important vocab. So I would like to listen from you. Otherwise, let me write it. Anyone who can tell the meaning of this word? Resentment. Okay, it means anger or bitterness. Okay, so there is bound to be some resentment among section of the political class. It's happened, right? If Ishai will mention that you have to give us those manifesto like in such a manner so that it will convince the people rather than attracting those. So what happened after that? There's some angriness happen between those political parties and all, among those political parties. It may be argued that the ECI should not get into the 90-gritty of manifesto formulation. So what is the there are some argue that the ECI should not get into the 90-gritty of the manifesto formulation. So manifesto formulation totally up to the party. So ECI should not interrupt on that. Now it's the thing. Now we have a very good phrase, nitty gritty. Sorry, nitty gritty. Who would like to tell me the meaning of this one? Nitty gritty. It's
Uh,
a good
it's like
phrase.
important details.
Okay, yeah, we can say, but yeah, let me tell the exact one. Nitty gritty. It means the basic facts of a situation. Okay, that means the basics of manifesto, especially the manner of its implementation, as that will be the political and the administrative responsibility of the party that comes to power on the basis of its promises. Okay, so why the political parties become angry? Because according to those political parties, it may like the ACI, that Election Commission of India should not get into the nitty-gritty, the basics of manifesto formulation. Okay, so it's totally up to the political parties. They will think how to uh, formulate the manifesto. So Asia should not get into those. Okay, especially the manner of its implementation. So how it will implement it, it's totally up to the political parties. Asia should not get into it. It's according to those political parties. Okay, as that will be political and administrative responsibility of the party. That responsibility totally up to the party, and that comes to power on the basis of its promises. Okay, So whatever promise they will make, they will try to fulfill that one. Okay, so let's go to the next para. The guideline itself arose from a Supreme Court judgment 2013. So the guideline arose from Supreme Court judgment in 2013 that upholding the right of parties to make electoral promises even if they involve distribution of consumer goods. So what we came to know here from this para, like in 2013, the Supreme Court judgment in 2013 already uphold the right. They just give the right to those parties to make electoral promises even if they involve distribution of consumer goods. So Supreme Court allowed that. Okay, so Supreme Court allow those parties to do this thing, like distribute the consumer goods and all. Okay, and making the manifesto as well. It was held that such a promise would not amount to a corrupt practice, and it was held that those promises are not corrupt. And as long as these were financed by budgetary allocation cleared by the legislature. Yeah, one important vocab we are having here. Legislature, they could not be invalidated. Okay, so who would like to tell me the meaning of legislature? Anyone?
Legislature is I thought it's a rule of India, 4 and 5 times kind
It's
of
the
rules,
authority, I think
regulations.
so, legislature.
Yeah, it's an authority.
Authority to make rules and regulations in India.
Yes. Yes, absolutely correct. A group of people who have the power to make and changes the laws. Okay. So yeah, let's go to the next para. The court also suggested that to prevent extravagant promises from upsetting the electoral level playing field, the ECI could lay down some guidelines. So the court also suggested that to prevent extravagant, to prevent those extravagant promises from now it's also important vocab. So would like to tell me the meaning of extravagant?
ज्यादा खर्चे करने वाला.
Too much.
Yeah, extreme. Extravagant means extreme. Okay, so it means extreme. Okay. Promises from upsetting the electrical level playing field. So what the author tried to mention here that rather than concentrating on those extreme promises, rather than giving those extreme promises, they should try to give something which is like in the level playing field, which they can they are able to afford that. Okay, the ECI could lay down some guidelines, and the ECI also lay down some guidelines. In practice, however, means but the ECI's guidelines did not elicit enough information. Okay, but ECI's guideline did not elicit enough information. And what is the meaning of illicit? Illicit is a verb. It means to obtain something. Okay. Illicit means to obtain. So I just want to ask you one question. You guys know the meaning of illicit? ILICIT, illicit. It's a verb. Illicit is a verb, but illicit is adjective. This one is adjective. So can I tell? Hello, is there anyone?
Yeah, sure.
We are
Tell.
listening.
Okay, it's illegal. That's what I'm doing. Illegal. So these two have the same sound, same, uh, like what I can say, same pronunciation, little bit same. So yeah, so it's better for us to know about these two. And illicit means foul, which means to obtain something, and illicit means illegal. So we can use that. Okay. Elicit enough information. As parties made only routine and ambiguous disclosures, if implemented, detailed financial disclosure may help in informed voter choice, as revealed parties are likely to subject manifesto promises to intense scrutiny. Okay, so what is mentioned here in this para is like if the parties made only routine and ambiguous disclosures, and if implemented, if this thing implemented, I mean, if they implement such a manifesto which have, where they disclose everything very nicely, then what happened? Then detailed financial disclosures may help inform voter choices. So voter can easily choose their uh, like whom they want be to win. Okay, so and the rival parties means that opposite parties are likely to subject manifesto promises intense scrutiny. Scrutiny means they can check those nicely. Like, is there anything wrong in those manifesto? I mean, if they are telling that they will fulfill those promises, then will they are able to fulfill those promises or not? So, those opposite party also have some good impact there, and overall the voter will be benefited, the people will benefited because of this. Okay, it may also have a more meaningful impact, be it positive or negative. So it may also have more meaningful impact if it's positive or negative on the prospect of a party winning over the electorate with a single flagship promise. Okay, and it will be meaningful as well if it happen. Then, because if it's positive or negative, but if those scrutiny and all will happen, then it will be helpful for the normal people. Okay, so let's go to the next para. I think here it's time to wrap up the session, but before that I just want to ask you about the tone of today's editorial. Who would like to tell us about the tone of today's editorial?
What does
Anyone?
it mean, by the way? I didn't get it. Like tone of editorial. What do
Okay,
you have to
so
explain?
let me tell you. Yeah, if you see after reading this editorial, if you come to know that author trying to criticize someone, then the tone will be critical. If you come to know the author try to give us some information, then the tone will be informative. If you came to know that author try to analyze something, then the tone will become analytical. Okay? And
It's
if you
analytical.
think
It's analytical.
Okay, and if you think that author trying to suggest something, then it will be suggestive. Okay, so it's analytical according to you. Yeah. Okay, and it's informative as well because author try to give us some information. So yeah, thank you so much that you said analytical. Yeah, you are correct. Okay, so this is all about this editorial, and there's one more editorial of today's Hindu editorial. So I don't have much time, so I have to wrap up the session very early today, and my PC battery is also less, so I have to go. But before that, I just simply tell you what is there in this editorial. So no longer bizarre. Who would like to tell me the meaning of bizarre? This is common word in editorials.
Strange.
Anyone? Strains, yeah, absolutely. These are, I mean, strains. Like, how can these things happen? Some strange things are there. Okay, so what is the strains here? It's like we came to know that Nobel Prize already awarded, right? So on 2022 Physics Nobel, it's about the Physics Nobel Prize given for establishing what was once seen as metaphysical. So once something, it seems like metaphysical, which is like there's not any existence of this thing, but this year in 2022, uh, Nobel Prize given for these things. Okay, given for metaphysics. Okay, so let's go to the editorial, then we'll get some knowledge. Okay, so maybe you'll get some strange word here because it's related to science. So the people who belong to science, it's totally fine for them. But if you get some strange word, it's also no issue. I mean, I'll try my best to explain it. Okay, so the quantum revolution, uh, ushered in a new phase of science and technology, which transistors changing electronics forever and lasers providing the foundational con- cornerstones in field from communication and medicine. Okay, see, because of communication, we have seen lots of satellites in the space. Okay, so communication is mandatory, and what scientists think that anything could happen to this earth. Okay, it's possible if you if you guys really interested to those sci-fi movies, like science fiction movies of Hollywood, then you will have some ideas about it. Because what happened, like, um scientists continuously checking those things. Maybe something hit the earth and earth will disrupt, then where a human being will go. So we are trying our best to search about the space, about other planets where life could be survived there or not, these things. Okay, so to improve the communication, to improve those communication and medicine, what happened now, one new thing is used for communication and medicine. Okay, so the quantum revolution ushered in a new phase of science and technology. So this quantum revolution will help us to learn about some new technology, which transistor changing electronics forever, and which with transistors changing electronics forever. They will change the electronics forever, and laser providing the foundational cornerstones in the field of communication and medicine. Okay, so how it will be helpful in communication and medicine? Let's see. Okay, so this year, Nobel Prize for Physics awards yet another milestone in quantum physics. So it's in quantum physics. The award goes to the quantum physics. This has been dubbed a revolution in the making, with many possibilities for application in quantum computation. So with this, what we came to know that now there's many possibilities for application of quantum computations, quantum cryptography, and quantum networks. Okay, so if you guys really want to have some idea about quantum physics, then just go to YouTube and search quantum physics, and you will get a brief idea about that. And it's really very interesting. Okay, and like how people, like if I'm here in my place, and if I want to go to Mumbai, how within a second I can go there. So it's related to quantum physics. Okay, so scientists are work on that. But okay, so let me tell you next. Align Aspect, France, John F. Closer, the US, and Anton Zeilinger, Austria, have been awarded for experimental work on entangled photons. So their work, these personalities get Nobel, and okay, and where they is their work about entangle photons. Entangle photons. So what is the meaning of entangle? Anyone who would like to tell me the meaning of entangle?
उलझन.
Yeah, yes, correct. Like this is something and this is. If they are like this, and it's so hard to separate those. Okay, so it's known as entangle. So let me write the meaning of entangle. It means twisted together.
Even say
Twisted,
complex, right? Complex, twisted together,
yeah,
complex.
we can use that. It means entangle. Okay, so they work on about which entangle photons. Okay, they work on entangle photons. I think my word is wrong.
What are you talking about?
I'm explaining this. Twisted together means entangled. Okay, so guys, please give me 1 second. I have to charge my PC. Okay, yeah. So entangle means twisted together, and they work on entangle photons, stabilizing the violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information science. Okay, so it is stabilizing the violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information science. The common concept in their work is, what is the common concept in their work is quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Like, see, if a particle is in the earth and if a particle is in the space, okay, so maybe there's some possibility of entanglement. Maybe these two are entangled. If they are so much far apart from each other, but maybe they are entangled, and because of this thing, what happened? Communication will be easy. Okay, this is about this para. Okay, I mean this editorial. This is quark of quantum mechanics, which allow two or more particles to exist in an entangled state. Okay, not only two, more particles also entangle in a entangled state. Okay, such that what happens to one particle affect the other immediately. Okay, so if something happened to one particle, it will affect the other immediately, irrespective of how far they may be. This is what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. So what's spooky action at a distance? If these particles are so much far apart from each other, even though if something happened to the one particle, it will affect the others, okay, immediately. And prompted him, along with Boris Podolsky and Nathan Rosen, to come up with the thought experiment, and they experiment these things in 1935. The case of Schrodinger's cat, which can be alive and dead at the same time. So here the author is talking about Schrodinger's cat, and they assume it to be alive and dead at the same position. So maybe you guys will feel like what she is talking about is quite strange. How a thing is like alive and dead at the same time. It's not possible, right? But in quantum mechanics, it's possible. That's why I'm telling you, if you're really interested about it, you can search one video in YouTube and you will get some idea about quantum mechanics. Okay. The idea that challenged the very foundation of quantum mechanics was that there could be hidden variables. Okay. In quantum mechanics, there could be some hidden variables that decide the state of particles that were separated in space, and that decide the state of particles that were separated in space. Okay, if there's some particle in the space, and with the help of those quantum mechanics and all, we can tell us the position, the state of that particle. Okay, and there was no real quirk in quantum mechanics. And what is the meaning of quirk? I don't have much time, so I want anyone who would like to tell, or let me tell
Yeah,
you.
peculiar or bizarre, you can say, like.
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. So we learn already that bizarre means strange, and quirk means also strange. Thank you so much. In quantum mechanics, that caused them to be entangled. So it's really strange, like how a particle which is in the earth and which is in the space, how they can be entangled to each other. It's quite strange, right? So in quantum mechanics, it's possible. Okay. So let's go to the next para. See, the pictures are really amazing. So I am telling you, if you study about quantum mechanics, it's really interesting. John Stuart Bell in 1964 come up with a mathematical way of testing whether quantum mechanics was compatible with the local hidden variable theory. So Stuart Bell in 1964, he come up with a mathematical way of testing whether quantum mechanics was compatible with the local hidden variable theory. Okay, variable theory is also we have studied in our course. I'm a student of chemistry. There's also variable theory and physics also it's available. So what John Stuart Bell in 1964 mentioned that he came up with a mathematical way. Okay, mathematical way of testing whether quantum mechanics was compatible or not with the local hidden variable theory. So he come up with that variable theory. After further improvisations, these inequalities were named Bell's inequalities. So those inequalities are named as Bell's inequalities. Zone closure and Allen aspect have been avoided for showing experimentally the violation of Bell's equalities. And zone closure and Allen aspect have been avoided because they show experimentally the violations of Bell's inequalities. So these two guys, zone closure and Allen aspect, avoided because why? Because they show experimentally the violation of Bell's inequalities. And what Bell's inequalities? This is John Stuart Bell in 1964 come up with variable theory, and it's known as Bell's inequalities. Okay. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, this implies that entanglement is indeed intrinsic of quantum mechanics. Okay, that entanglement of particles is intrinsic to quantum mechanics, and there are no logic hidden variables dictating the correlation between the properties of the entanglement particles. This lead to further development of the field. Okay, so what happened? There are no local hidden variables dictating the correlation between the properties of the entanglement particles. See, if two particles are entangled, if one is in the earth, one is in the space, and they are entangled, but it doesn't mean that their properties are same. Okay, maybe if something happened to one particle, it will affect immediately to the other one, but it doesn't mean that these two particles have the same properties. Okay, and this led to further development of the field. Okay, Anton Zeilinger and his team took up the challenge of stabilizing quantum teleportation. So there's one new thing is like quantum teleportation. Though this phrase sounds magical, physical particles are not teleported. How can a physical particles teleported? We know about television, we know about telephone, right? But how a human being teleported? Is it possible? So this is all about quantum teleportation. As I mentioned, that if I have to go to 1,000 kilometers away right now, how can I go within a second? Is it possible? It's quite impossible. It seems like that, okay? And it's magical too. So let's see what will happen in the future. However, information about their quantum states is moved through a distance, okay? Helping in new forms of communication, and because of this thing, what there's a lot of help regarding communication and cryptography. Today, entangled quantum states between photons have been demonstrated when the photons have traversed tens of kilometers of optical fiber. And because in 2022, Nobel Prize given to that quantum entanglement, so there's a hope that in future maybe something strange, something bizarre, something quark will happen. Okay. Also, entangled states have been demonstrated between photons on Earth and those on satellite. Okay, so this entangle, I already mentioned that, where photons on Earth and those on satellite, there's an entangle between these two. It is likely that researchers will find ways to using this property, which is both exotic and promises. Okay, so it is likely that maybe researchers will find some ways to using this property, which is both exotic and promising too. So last word, exotic. Who would like to tell me the meaning of exotic? Anyone? Anyone who would like to tell me the meaning of exotic? Hello? Okay, let me tell you. Exotic means foreign. Okay? It's both exotic and promising. Yeah, external, I can say, foreign, strange, okay, weird, all idea. Okay, so yeah, this is about some pictures of quantum physics. And yeah, and what is the tone of editorial? Who would like to tell me the tone of editorial of this editorial?
Informative and scientific.
Yeah, informative. Yes, it's informative. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who participated my this editorial session, and thanks a lot for your how can I say, like, you support me during the session. So thanks a lot for everything. And yeah, so I need to wrap up the session here. So is there any
Yeah,
question?
and
Okay.
thank you so much, you too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my duty, right?
Yeah,
When I read the today's editorial, I thought like, oh, first one is okay. First one is nice. It's related to India and government and all. But when I came to know about this one, quantum physics related to, and I feel like it's really interesting thing for me. Whenever I watch any videos related to quantum physics, I feel so excited. Like, if it will happen, just imagine if you have to travel 1,000 kilometers, and if you will go within a second, how it's like amazing, right? If physical particle also go like this, like we call someone and within a second we can call a patient who is 1,000 kilometers away from us. And in case of television also, we see the screen and all, but teleportation of physical object is possible or not, they are working on this one. And we are glad that this year Nobel Prize goes to that physics, quantum physics. Okay, so where they discuss about the entanglement of photons. One photon is in Earth and one is in satellite. Okay, so this is all about today's editorial. Thank you so much for your participation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.